After the entrance examination, instead of attending the prestigious youth class at the University of Science and Technology, my mother enrolled me in the most renowned, aristocratic high school in the capital. To facilitate my sister's admission, she used me as a bargaining chip in negotiations with that institution. It is said that students there remain unperturbed, even when the heavens themselves are torn asunder. Upon the commencement of the school year, my sister introduced me as the offspring of their family servant, encouraging my classmates to feel free to summon me whenever necessary. Instantly, the eyes of my peers fixated upon me, akin to light bulbs illuminating in the darkness, leaving me with an unsettling sensation upon my scalp. I anticipated they would subject me to their whims, yet what they uttered was, "Really? In this day and age, still calling someone the servant's child? We refer to our caregivers as auntie now." Is this year's exceptional student following a narrative of enduring humiliation and rising triumph? She appears quite demure, resembling a BJD doll. I wish to adopt her. Count me in. They genuinely began to nurture me, meticulously feeding me to the point of gaining 10 pounds, while also introducing me to numerous esteemed mentors. Subsequently, envious of my newfound popularity, my sister conspired with my mother to confine me at home just before the college entrance examination. That night, dozens of luxury cars congregated outside our alley. A group of elegantly attired individuals coldly regarded my mother. "Have you truly detained the top scholar nurtured by Our Lady? Do you seek your own demise?" From my childhood to the present, the phrase my mother uttered most frequently was, "You owe your sister, and you shall spend a lifetime repaying that debt." The notion of owing traces back to the time of our births. I weighed over 4 pounds at birth, while my sister, Wang Miao, was born at just a little over 3 pounds and spent a month in an incubator due to asphyxia. Thus, when Wang Miao was unable to enter high school after her middle school examinations, my mother's immediate reaction was to slap me in the face amidst Wang Miao's wails. "You managed to get into university at 15, aren't you remarkable? If it weren't for you taking away your sister's nourishment and time at birth, would she have been unable to even attend high school? Wang Shu, you owe Miao Miao and you must repay." In that instant, my university admission was forfeited. I was instead enrolled in the most prestigious elite high school in our area. My mother's bargaining chip was Wang Miao's admission slot. 99% of the students there choose to study abroad upon graduation, while the remaining 1% are typically the school's exceptional talents. On the day of enrollment, Wang Miao conspiratorially leaned in to inform me about the school. "Wang Shu, you're doomed. Someone like you will surely be a target for bullying. I heard the last exceptional student even committed suicide, ending up paralyzed. I warn you, once you step in, do not disclose our relationship, or else, well, you would not want to be beaten at school and then punished at home, would you?" I remained silent, huddled in the corner of the car, cold sweat saturating my back. The air in the new school emanated a scent of wealth. The more Wang Miao walked, the more buoyant her steps became. And just before entering the classroom, she ominously warned me once more. "Do not mention our relationship." I bit my lip, tugging at my worn-out jacket. Glancing at her luxurious attire, purchased with a loan from our mother, her concerns seemed excessive. Given such a stark contrast, even if I claimed we were sisters, no one would believe it. As we entered the classroom, the raucous laughter of the old money crowd instantly ceased. A barrage of scrutinizing gazes swept over me, sending shivers down my spine. It was evident that Wang Miao felt a twinge of fear too, her stride becoming a bit unsteady. I hung my head low, daring not to raise it, trailing behind her in an attempt to go unnoticed. Suddenly, a frivolous voice pierced the silence. "Newcomer? Aren't you going to introduce yourself? You two are this year's exceptional students?" "No." Wang Miao's voice rang out loudly, tinged with excitement as she turned and pointed at me. "She is the exceptional student." Pausing for effect, she raised her voice further. "She is the child of our family's servant, here to take care of me." A stunned silence enveloped the class. I gazed at her in disbelief. Her face was flushed, yet her chin was held high, the Bulgari necklace around her neck glinting in the sunlight. Had I not known that my family lived just in the alley, I might have believed for a fleeting moment that she was a lofty princess. However, a few low chuckles broke the tension. "What? The servant's child? Are we liberated here?" Hearing that, I think I was transported back to the Republic era. Is this year's exceptional student following a script of enduring humiliation? She looks so obedient. I'd like to have her. I've never owned a college entrance examination top scorer. Until I settled into my seat, I was still somewhat dazed. The initial curious gazes seemed now laced with excitement. Yet, from the gloomy look Wang Miao cast my way, it was clear this wasn't entirely a good thing. I lowered my head and discreetly curved my lips into a smile. I must admit, witnessing Wang Miao's embarrassment felt as refreshing as sipping a cool soda. At that moment, my desk was gently tapped twice. Instinctively, I turned my head. A flawless face came into view, adorned with a smile. The beautiful girl extended her open palm, revealing several candies wrapped in shiny foil. "Can I keep you?" I nodded, dazed. She smiled again. Just as I had begun to sort out my thoughts, they became tangled once more. Of course, I couldn't be blamed for this. Luo Shuang was the school S-Belle. Her smile left me utterly entranced. After the enrollment concluded, I remained in a daze. Luo Shuang had already embraced me, standing on the podium to announce, "This is my person. I'm looking out for her. Anyone who dares to bully her is bullying me, understood?" The class erupted into cheers. "Luo Jia is so domineering. Luo Jia. I want to keep one too. Let me invest." I shrank back, feeling as though I were a prized item at an auction, such a precious and significant existence. Yet in the next moment, Wang Miao's venomous, resentful glare sent a chill down my spine. She shot me a cold smile. My previously swirling emotions cooled to an icy calm. Wang Miao and I officially commenced our high school journey. Wang Miao's monthly allowance was 8,000 yuan, while mine was a mere 500. As I pondered how to earn some money, I rummaged through my desk and unearthed a heap of snacks. Before I could contemplate further, a hand silently settled on my shoulder, and a sinister whisper sent chills down my spine, rendering me motionless. "Exceptional student. Remember to abide by the rules when eating." I swallowed hard, trembling all over. Not far away, Luo Shuang chuckled softly. The hand on my shoulder abruptly withdrew, and a black card was roughly thrust into my palm. It was the school's unlimited meal card. "Don't end up starving like the previous exceptional student." With that, a boy sporting flamboyant green hair stifled a yawn and sauntered away. After class, Wang Miao cornered me in the restroom. She looked at me with glee. "What have you done to provoke the school bully?" Seeing my confusion, she kindly explained that the boy with green hair was Lin Songmu, the biggest bully in the school. It was said that those targeted by him often ended up in a vegetative state. I touched the card in my pocket and shivered involuntarily. Wang Miao seemed uninterested in further details. She blew on her nails disdainfully, casting a glance my way. "Never mind, as long as you listen to me. I'll look out for you." What Wang Miao meant by looking out was that I became her errand runner, fetching meals for her, with the constant threat that if I disobeyed, she would report back home. When I placed her meal tray in front of her, she was animatedly recounting to her new classmates about her vacation in Australia. Catching sight of me, she raised her voice. "Hey, are you trying to starve me with your slow movements? What a useless thing." Her new friends offered a few hollow laughs, their gazes flickering between me and Wang Miao. I remained silent, turning to leave, only to collide with a girl glaring at me. I recognized her. She was Songyu, Luo Shuang's best friend. She had been the loudest in expressing her desire to invest in me on the podium. She shoved me aside with annoyance, and a plate of glossy braised pork, dripping with thick sauce, landed squarely atop Wang Miao's head. Wang Miao froze, her eyes wide in disbelief. Songyu displayed no emotion, merely tossing the empty plate onto the table in front of Wang Miao. "Did you really think everyone here is a fool? Your entire background is a blank slate to us. Or perhaps you're so engrossed in your Australian tale that you genuinely believe you're a pampered heiress incapable of lifting a finger." In this enclave of affluence, boasting was not terrifying. What was truly dreadful was being exposed on the spot. Wang Miao's face drained of color, and the two girls beside her quietly retreated. She suddenly stood, pointing at me. "It's her." She voluntarily offered to help me. Songyu ignored her and instead turned her attention to me. "We assert that nurturing you is to provide you with ample resources to excel academically, not to empower you to serve as a maid." I opened my mouth, hastily nodding in response to the narrowed eyes of Songyu. With a frown, she clicked her tongue, seizing my wrist and leading me away. She brought me to a private room occupied solely by her and a few friends, insisting that I take a seat. Luo Shuang was also present, smiling warmly as she waved at me. "Eat," she urged, placing a piece of rib onto my plate. "You're so thin, a gust of wind could knock you over. How do you expect to achieve top honors for us?" I gazed at her, then at the rib on my plate, a sudden lump forming in my throat. Such unreasonable kindness left me somewhat bewildered. Biting my lip, I stammered, "Why are you helping me?" The green-haired boy beside Songyu interjected without lifting his gaze. "Isn't it obvious? Luo Jia has issued a gag order. You're under her protection. There's another top student in the adjacent class, and they bet with Luo Jia on who will score the highest. You're a cash cow now, you understand?" Songyu kicked the boy lightly, admonishing, "You talk too much." She then turned to me, her expression one of disdain. "Your skin is devoid of moisture. If you score top honors and end up in the papers looking like this, it would be a disgrace to our class. Here, take this skincare product." I fumbled to clutch the paper bag that Songyu had thrust into my arms. In that moment, I realized I had not encountered a savior, but had instead stumbled into a new jungle. The rules here were dissimilar to those of my little balcony at home, even distinct from those of an ordinary high school. Here, my academic performance and potential had transformed into a commodity for others to invest in. Wang Miao sought to trample me underfoot to elevate her own status, while Luo Shuang and Songyu aimed to lift me up, affirming their discernment and authority. Despite the varied motivations, the outcome was that I experienced, for the first time, a sense of utility, and this value became my shield. When I returned to that cramped balcony after school, my mood was markedly different. I carefully retrieved the candy Luo Shuang had given me from my backpack, unwrapped it, and popped it into my mouth. It was delightfully sweet. That weekend, I was dragged from my dreams and given a thorough beating due to Wang Miao's actions. The blows were heavier than ever before, the sharp crack of the belt striking old wounds mingling with my mother's shrill curses. Wang Miao stood nearby, a triumphant smirk plastered on her face. I gritted my teeth, refusing to cry, forcing the metallic sweetness back down my throat. On Monday, as I stepped into the classroom, cold sweat trickled down my back with each step. Wang Miao was relentless in her pursuit of trouble. Sure enough, during a break, I found myself cornered in the gymnasium by a boy from the adjacent class. He shoved a crumpled note towards me, "Top student. We'll be in the same examination room for the monthly test, and you know the rules." I looked up just in time to see Wang Miao huddled with a few girls from her class, exchanging whispers and laughter. Upon meeting my gaze, she smirked derisively. The imposing boy in front of me grew impatient, pressing his hands against my shoulders. "Hey, are you listening? You wouldn't want to refuse, would you? Do you even know who my father is?" Fear threatened to engulf my rationality, but upon seeing the gleeful glint in Wang Miao's eyes, an unprecedented surge of emotion welled up within me. I trembled as I asserted, "I've said it before, I will not assist you in cheating." With that, I squeezed my eyes shut. Yet, the anticipated pain never arrived. Instead, a cry of pain echoed around me. I relaxed, opening my eyes to find the boy who had just threatened me clutching his stomach on the ground. A clean sneaker rested on him, and the green-haired bully, Lin Songmu, scoffed, "Hey, Emote Song, your family's little company worth millions can only intimidate top students, huh? How about this? Guess who my father is?" The boy limped away in a panic. I too wanted to flee, but Luo Shuang, Songyu, and Lin Songmu surrounded me from three sides. Lin Songmu repeatedly patted my shoulder, his narrow eyes glinting with malevolence. "I say, top student, supporting you seems quite taxing." His hand landed precisely on my injury, causing my vision to blur. Then, darkness enveloped me, and in his astonished gaze, I collapsed forward. In my fading consciousness, a rough and panicked voice exclaimed, "Damn it. Have I killed her?" When I awoke, I found myself in the school infirmary. The trio had resumed their positions from before I lost consciousness, Luo Shuang, Songyu, and Lin Songmu, staring intently at me from either side and in front. I slowly curled up under the covers. However, the blanket was abruptly yanked away, revealing Lin Songmu's green hair bobbing before me. "Top student, what is going on with you?" With a sharp slap, his green-haired head was forcefully pushed aside. Songyu inquired, "Do you want to stay in the dorms?" Luo Shuang put away her phone, announcing, "Let us have you stay in the dorms. I've already taken care of your application." As I stood in the dormitory, clutching a few simple possessions, gazing at the bed and desk that were now mine, a sense of unreality washed over me. I was unaware of what they had done to Wang Miao. The following afternoon, I only witnessed her sobbing as she packed her things to move to the adjacent building's class. She kept her head down, avoiding my gaze. Strangely, my parents did not come to confront me either. Thus, under the almost tyrannical protection of Luo Shuang and Song Yu, I transitioned smoothly from the first to the second year of high school. However, Wang Miao appeared to be faring poorly. The school organized an outdoor study trip, taking us camping in the countryside. That night, a massive bonfire blazed in the center of the campsite. Luo Shuang pulled me into the warmest spot among the crowd, stuffing my hands with various grilled meats and snacks. Amidst the revelry, I inadvertently caught sight of Wang Miao not too far off, stumbling while carrying several bottles of drinks, carefully avoiding the crowd. A boy seemed impatient with her slowness, scolding her, and she shrank back, apologizing repeatedly, her silhouette appearing particularly frail and disheveled in the flickering firelight. This pitiable sight was not new to me. At school, I often witnessed her ingratiating herself with her classmates, her demeanor submissive like that of a servant. In the darkness, I felt as though I met her weary gaze. After a moment of surprise, she averted her eyes. After the bonfire party, I stepped away to the creek for some fresh air. As I approached the water's edge, I faintly heard soft footsteps behind me. Turning around, I indeed saw Wang Miao emerging from behind a tree, her face contorted in the dappled moonlight, filled with jealousy and resentment. "You're quite pleased with yourself, aren't you?" Her voice was hoarse as she advanced towards me, being supported by those people. "Have you forgotten who you are?" "Wang Shu. What gives you the right to live better than I do?" Instinctively, I took a step back. "Wang Miao, what do you intend to do?" "I want you to disappear," she shouted, suddenly lunging at me, forcefully pushing against my chest. The creek was strewn with slippery pebbles, and I was caught off guard, my body leaning backward. Just as I thought I would plunge into the frigid water, Wang Miao lost her balance and slid down the steep bank instead, letting out a brief scream as she tumbled. I frowned, peering in the direction she had fallen, and could hear her pained groans from below. After a few minutes, I turned and dashed back to the campsite to call for help. Wang Miao had fractured a rib from her fall. The next afternoon, my mother stormed into the school like an enraged lioness. She didn't even visit Wang Miao in the infirmary first, but headed straight to our classroom. "Wang Shu, get out here." Her shrill voice shattered the tranquility of the hallway. "How dare you harm your sister? I'll kill you." She barged into the classroom, disregarding the teacher who was conducting a lesson, and lunged at me with the intent to strike. The palm, reminiscent of a fan, swept towards my face, carrying with it a familiar dread that rendered me utterly motionless. Yet, that hand never made contact. Suddenly, Song Yu, seated in front of me, sprang to her feet and seized my mother by the wrist. Tall and youthful, her gaze was piercing, radiating an undeniable aura of authority. "Auntie, this is a classroom." My mother was momentarily taken aback, attempting to break free. "Who are you?" "I discipline my own daughter. It's none of your business." Luo Shuang also leisurely rose, crossing her arms as she stepped forward. "Your daughter? You treat her as a mere appendage to gain entry into this school for your precious little girl. Yet now that she has some value, you come to play the caring mother and flaunt your power?" My mother faltered for a brief moment, her face flushing crimson as she trembled, pointing a finger at me. "Is this how you orchestrate things between me and your sister at school? Very well. Let us see if I dare to strike you today." However, she was unable to approach me, as our class monitor, accompanied by several boys, obstructed her path. "Auntie, please mind your language. Our school's legal department does not take matters lightly. Last time you laid hands on Wang Shu, I'm sure you've already had dealings with them." I was momentarily stunned, while my mother clearly recoiled. Yet her pride would not allow her to retreat in front of a group of adolescents. Thus, she disregarded their standing and chose to continue her reckless tirade. "You're all in this together. Wealthy people banding together to bully us poor folks." Her agitation intensified, her finger nearly poking Luo Shuang's nose. "You children of affluence are rotten to the core, dressed to the nines, yet your hearts are darker than ink. You conspired against Miao Miao, forcing her to switch classes. And now you want to harm her. Is it just because you have some filthy money? What is so impressive about that?" "Indeed, wealth is impressive," Lin Sengmu, with his green hair, kicked the chair in front of my mother. His eyes were arrogant, his tone dripping with disdain, as if he were surveying refuse. "I am wealthy. I am audacious. My wealth allows me to make someone disappear without a trace. My wealth guarantees that your later years will be filled with misery. My wealth gives me the power to reduce you to a mere puppet, raging futilely here. My mother's complexion shifted from red to blue, then to pale white. She pointed at us, her lips quivering, yet she could not utter a single curse. The classroom fell into a profound silence, all students coldly observing her. She shrank back slightly, then belatedly sensed the fear enveloping her. Casting a swift glance at my classmates, she took 2 steps back. "This is a society governed by law. Just wait, I will sue you." With that, she hurried away, her steps uneven. The moment she exited the classroom, Lin Songmu's imposing presence dissipated. He scratched his head and turned around. The ice-cold demeanor of the wealthy scion had vanished. He even hesitated, glancing in the direction my mother had fled, muttering softly, "Did I go a bit too far?" "Too far." Songyu shot him a look, her tone devoid of reproach yet laced with a hint of satisfaction. "For someone so obstinate, you must hit her with the truth to instill fear. Do you think she can comprehend reason?" The class monitor sighed in relief, adjusting his glasses. As long as the intended effect was achieved, that's sufficient. However, Lin Songmu, your last lines about disappearance and misery could be toned down a bit. It sounded like the villain's monologue. A classmate nearby chimed in with a grin. "Wow, Lin, you were absolutely stunning just now. That was an Oscar-worthy performance." I saw Wang Shu's mother turn pale. She practically fled as if something sinister were chasing her. Exactly. Let's see if she dares to act up at school again. The atmosphere in the classroom shifted from the earlier tension to a relaxed ambience. Students chatted animatedly, some teasing Lin Songmu, while others gathered around me. "Wang Shu, are you all right?" Luo Shuang sighed, pulling out a tissue to gently dab at my face. "Why are you crying?" "Your tears are precious. They aren't worth shedding for someone like her." It was only then that I realized my cheeks were streaked with tears. I choked out a soft retort. "I'm not crying because of her." The tissue paused momentarily on my face before she applied it with a lighter touch. Luo Shuang smiled, her lips curving in a way that reminded me of when she declared she would take care of me, though this time her smile bore a hint of triumph. "Humph. Remember, you're under my protection." I nodded vigorously. They truly had nurtured me well, each in their own way, gradually filling my long-starved heart and soul. My mother's threat of suing us ultimately sank like a stone into the sea. After recovering from her injuries, Wang Miao withdrew from school. I remained in the dormitory, never returning to that previous home. My parents tacitly avoided me, even during winter and summer breaks and the new year. They no longer intruded upon my life. Perhaps they intended to intrude. I once overheard a conversation between Luo Shuang and Lin Songmu. "The days around the Spring Festival are crucial. I have arranged for 2 people to keep watch, ensuring her parents won't come to stir up trouble." Lin Songmu's voice sounded somewhat aloof. "Don't worry. My father's security team has some seasoned hands on duty. Not only her parents, but even a strange fly trying to approach the school will be interrogated." Luo Shuang replied with an "Handle it discreetly. Don't create pressure for her. What she needs is an utterly tranquil environment to prepare for the college entrance examination. Additionally, I've made arrangements with the dorm supervisor. She'll be particularly vigilant about any disturbances during the break." Yet, since they did not wish for me to know these matters, I chose to remain oblivious. I devoted myself wholeheartedly to my studies, and with each citywide examination, my scores soared to new heights. I truly became the living emblem of this school. The school's board chairman, a rotund old man, was said to have championed the elite student program. During this time, I often caught sight of him smiling through the window, watching me intently. When our eyes met, he waved me over. "Wang Shu, come here." Without waiting for an invitation, he handed me a file folder. "This is your reward." I stared in bewilderment at the stacks of cash within the folder. Thus, while claiming first place in exams, I simultaneously became a small fortune holder. One Friday afternoon, Songyu, unusually disengaged from her cosmetics, tapped my desk with her phone. "Hey, don't just rot away in the library this weekend. Come with me to a place." I looked up, puzzled. She tilted her chin, her tone casual. "My uncle is at Q University, leading a team for an information competition. Aren't you interested in that? It's better than floundering around on your own." My heart skipped a beat. Q University, an esteemed haven for countless science students. Luo Shuang leaned in from beside me, adding, "Lin Songmu's father's company is collaborating with T University's lab. There's an open day next month, and he got a spot for you. Come and broaden your horizons." She winked, experience the atmosphere of a top-tier institution ahead of time. We don't want you to feel like a country bumpkin when you eventually get accepted. They spoke so nonchalantly, as if merely arranging an ordinary weekend outing. Yet I knew they were paving a path for me towards a broader world in their own way. As the college entrance examination approached, the classroom grew increasingly quiet. Yet this silence was starkly different from the oppressive atmosphere typically found in graduating classes. For within this classroom, 19 students had already secured offers from prestigious universities, leaving only me as the solitary candidate for the domestic examination. They should have been the most carefree individuals in the school, able to embark on globe-trotting adventures or immerse themselves in parties and games. Yet, they did not. They continued to appear punctually in the classroom every day, while I immersed myself in the grueling 5-year college entrance examination preparations. The faint murmurs of SAT vocabulary recitation and the subtle sounds of TOEFL listening exercises drifted in from beside me. They accompanied me in their own unique ways, keeping me anchored in this relentless battleground with no retreat. During breaks, as I rubbed my tired eyes and lifted my gaze, I would invariably discover a cup of warm coffee or an energy bar that had mysteriously appeared on the corner of my desk. Lin Song-mu would insist on forcing me to take a so-called smart drug he had procured from abroad, reputed to enhance memory. Whenever I became overly stressed and furrowed my brow at a particularly challenging problem, Song-yu would set aside her fashion magazine, lean in for a glance, and offer her distinctive insights to guide me. Luo Shuang would unceremoniously close my book when I had been studying for too long, dragging me out to the playground for a couple of laps under the pretense of preventing my brain from overheating and crashing. It was in this nurturing environment that I found myself enveloped in warmth. On the eve of the college entrance examination, Luo Shuang and the others forcibly seized the pen from my hand. Lin Sengmu had dyed his hair from green to red. With utmost seriousness, he proclaimed, "You must connect with nature before diving back into your studies, otherwise your brain will turn to mush. I've wagered 10 million on you, and this investment cannot fail." With a swift motion, his red head received a playful smack. I couldn't help but laugh. Our boisterous group made our way to a nearby park. Lin Songmu even attempted to feed the swans with breadcrumbs, only to find himself chased away in a fluster. In that moment, I truly forgot about the impending examination. That was until I exited the restroom. A rough hand suddenly clasped over my mouth and nose from behind. I struggled desperately, my vision began to blur. And just before losing consciousness, I heard a sinister laugh. Huh, look at you, so self-righteous. Let us see how you fare when you miss the exam. When I regained consciousness, I found myself in a musty room. My hands and feet were bound, and my mouth was taped shut, leaving me to emit only muffled whimpers. An ornament was hurled at me. With quick reflexes, I turned my head to evade it, only to discover a figure lurking in the shadows. Wang Shu, do you think those rich kids will spare you if you miss the exam? They've staked tens of millions on you. Wang Miao emerged from the darkness, her pale face alight with excitement. If they lose that fortune because you can't even enter the exam room, do you think they'll mourn the money or your fate? I stood frozen in place, unwilling to confront the disappointment I would see in Luo Shuang's eyes. Upon noticing my expression, Wang Miao's excitement only intensified. She slapped me hard and laughed maniacally. Wang Shu, look at you now. Do you have any idea what we've endured these past 2 years? Those people are insane. You deserve this. In my despair, a distant rumble reverberated from outside the window. Wang Miao's expression shifted abruptly. She turned in terror toward the window and then back at me wide-eyed. No way, it can't be, my heart raced. Wang Miao clearly realized something was amiss. And in a panic, she lunged toward me, frantically attempting to untie me, her words a jumbled mess. No, you can't be found. Why, but it was too late. At midnight, the old neighborhood was enveloped in silence. Outside my door, the roar of engines echoed like distant thunder, drawing closer with each passing moment. One after another, vehicles came to a halt, their headlights illuminating the narrow alley as brightly as day. Trapped inside the room, I peered through the window to witness an unforgettable scene. Dozens of luxury cars, which I had only ever seen in magazines, clogged the entrance to the alley. The doors swung open, revealing not suited bodyguards, but my classmates. Songyu held a lollipop between her lips, while Luo Shuang brandished a baseball bat. Lin Songmu, with his hair resembling a rooster's comb, impatiently directed a towering bodyguard clad in black. The class monitor, who often referred to me as the top student, was flanked by several of my peers. Behind them stood family assistants or housekeepers, their demeanor respectful yet commanding. My mother, clad in pajamas, looked bewildered as she witnessed the door to our home being dismantled. Her legs buckled, nearly collapsing to the ground. Song-yu stepped forward, twirling the lollipop in her fingers, her voice crisp yet laced with an icy chill. "Auntie, I heard you've been holding our top student hostage? With just hours left before the exam, are you trying to court disaster?" The final 3 words, though spoken softly, sent a shiver through my mother. I am merely educating my daughter," she stammered, attempting to assert parental authority. "Your daughter?" Lin Sangmu scoffed, interrupting her. "From the day you enrolled her in our school, she ceased to belong solely to you. She is a collective investment of our entire class, understand? Your current actions are tantamount to willfully damaging a valuable asset. Stop wasting time with her." Another classmate glanced at his watch impatiently before instructing his companions. "If you delay our top student's sleep, can she afford that loss?" Several well-dressed assistants stepped forward, their manner polite yet unyielding. "Madam, please cooperate." Naturally. My mother refused to comply, attempting to create a scene. In response, several bodyguards seized her, along with the screaming Wang Miao. At precisely 12:10, I found myself seated in Luo Shuang's extraordinarily comfortable vehicle. My classmates offered a cacophony of reassurances. Luo Shuang handed me milk and melatonin. "It's our fault for not protecting you." I stared blankly at her and, almost instinctively, asked, "What if I don't score the highest?" Luo Shuang raised an eyebrow, regarding me as though I were foolish. "If you don't, then you don't," Lin Songmu chimed in, "but you mustn't forget that I'm your angel investor." With a playful smack, Song-yu struck his head again. Yet I smiled through my tears. During the 3 days of examinations, I basked in an unprecedented VIP experience. Luo Shuang's family chef prepared an array of nutritious meals. Song-yu's family doctor remained on standby, anxious that I might suffer from stress-induced ailments. Other classmates worked to eliminate all distractions, even negotiating with cicadas outside the exam venue to lower their volume. I entered the examination hall with an unusually calm demeanor. On the day the results were announced, our entire class gathered at Luo Shuang's home. In just over half a month, we would scatter to the far corners of the earth. Sitting beside me, Luo Shuang dressed casually, her gaze not on the screen but fixed on me. Her tone as tranquil as if she were inquiring about the weather. "Nervous?" I inhaled deeply and nodded honestly, a bit. "Next to us." Lin Songmu continued engrossed in his game. "No worries, if you don't score the highest, I'll just send you abroad." With a loud thud, his head was once again pushed into the plush sofa piled with snacks. "This is murder," he mumbled, muffled by the cushion, flailing his limbs. Song-yu rolled her eyes and withdrew her hand, casting me a sidelong glance. "Don't listen to his nonsense, it's bad luck." Luo Shuang chuckled, "Exactly. Sending him abroad would just waste foreign currency, at least here he can contribute to domestic consumption." The room erupted in laughter. Then, someone quietly announced, "Time's up." In an instant, all chatter ceased. The silence in the living room was palpable as dozens of eyes fixed intently on the enormous electronic screen. The butler had already set the query page to the final step, awaiting my examination number and password. I took a deep breath, stepped forward, and with trembling fingers, meticulously input each digit of the number. Finally, I pressed the enter key. The page refreshed. "Oh no, study now!" I exclaimed. "Wait, where are the results?" Alas, you naive bumpkin, the top 50 results are blocked. Instinctively, I turned to glance at Luo Shuang, who leaned back on the sofa, smiling at me. In the next moment, my phone rang. The voice of the homeroom teacher erupted through the receiver. "First place. Wang Shu, you are the top scholar." This declaration resonated through the suddenly hushed living room with crystal clarity. Time seemed to freeze once more. Immediately following, there was an even more frenzied and uncontrollable eruption. "Goodness. Officially certified. The homeroom teacher has lost his mind. Ha ha. Goodness, I just earned 2 million from the neighboring class. This is my first pot of gold." My classmates screamed and cheered, champagne spraying with wild abandon. Lin Songmu dashed over, attempting to lift me up, only to be thwarted by a stern glance from Luo Shuang. Song-yu thrust another bottle of champagne into my hands, exclaiming loudly, "Open it yourself. This is your moment." A profound sense of joy surged through me like a warm current, invigorating every fiber of my being. I twisted the bottle cap with a forceful pop, sending it soaring towards the ceiling, golden liquid gushing forth like the tears of excitement I could no longer contain. I raised the bottle high and proclaimed to everyone, my voice choked yet resoundingly clear, thank you. Thank you all. After graduating from university, I pursued my master's degree under the guidance of Song Yu's uncle. In my second year of graduate studies, I established my own small company, with each of the 19 classmates from high school investing in it. The initial stages were fraught with challenges, yet whenever I encountered a bottleneck, assistance would serendipitously arrive. Perhaps it was a phone call from Luo Shuang that introduced me to a crucial partner, or maybe it was an offhand piece of advice from Song Yu's uncle that guided our research and development, sparing us from missteps, or Lin Zhongmu exuberantly bringing in resources from his father's company for testing, or even the class monitor discreetly sending me a meticulously crafted legal risk assessment he worked on late into the night. Our small enterprise, much like the me who was once shielded by everyone on my way to the examination hall, steadily found its footing under the auspices of such remarkable angel investors, gradually carving a niche in our specialized field. Following yet another successful product launch, we celebrated in a restaurant atop a skyscraper in the capital. Outside, the stars shimmered brilliantly, while inside, familiar smiles illuminated the room. We raised our glasses, not merely to commemorate the triumph of an exam, but to celebrate our company achieving yet another significant milestone. Lin Zhongmu remained as boisterous as ever, throwing an arm around my shoulder and proclaiming, I told you back then I wasn't mistaken. Boss Wang. I'm sticking with you from now on. Luo Shuang elegantly swirled her glass, casually remarking, this investment has yielded quite a good return. Yet, I did not miss the glimmer of amusement in her eyes. Song Yu, on the other hand, was more direct, patting my back. Next time, don't undervalue our financing. As I looked at them, at this group of individuals who illuminated my life during its darkest moments, my heart brimmed with boundless gratitude and strength. From that cramped, dim room to now overlooking the city from this lofty perch, the journey had been fraught with obscurity and hardship in its early days, yet blossomed into warmth and vibrancy later on. It has laid a robust foundation for my entire life. At the very least, I can genuinely say I feel profoundly happy now. The end of the narrative. Thank you for listening, and until we meet again in our next story.